entirely too much about will affect your life as it is that you miss the human interactions with people. I know that some people, they have to check in on Facebook, they have to check in on Instagram, they have to Snapchat or WhatsApp somebody constantly because that's their validation. Some people are addicted to the likes, the thumbs up, the smiley faces, the hearts. So that leads them to perpetrate small lies or build a false life for themselves, in which they can affect greatly their livelihood, their relationships with others, and when all those lies do come crashing down, they are affected by the consequences of their own actions. So that can all stem a lot from social media.
Social media addiction is a real problem that afflicts more of us than we know. Now you might be thinking, me? There's no way. I barely use my phone, much less enough to be addicted to social media. The research proves otherwise. In fact, studies say that the average person checks their phone 110 times per day. The average teenager can spend up to 9 hours daily on social platforms. And 25% of Facebook users check their accounts 5 or more times a day. Additional research shows that during these times we're on Facebook, our perception of time is dramatically warped to the point where we underestimate the hours we spend commenting, liking, posting, and stalking. Yes, stalking. We've all done it. Don't act like you haven't seen someone and realized you only knew who they were because you were a little too deep into your best friend's cousin's grandparents' Instagram account. We've all been there. But that's aside from the point. Our society is hooked. And while we might think there's nothing wrong spending a little extra time tagging our friends in Facebook memes, studies show that the psychological damage is deep. These apps can cause poor psychological well-being, a decreased quality sleep, a lower attention span, and social media can just be a plain waste of time.
And to understand why social media is so addictive, we have to look into how our brain works. The brain controls thought, memory, emotion, along with all the 5 senses and every process that regulates our body. All those tasks are performed by pathways, where the brain sends messages to the nervous system, and the nervous system sends messages back. We'll focus on the brain's reward system. Here is where dopamine is mostly produced, a type of neurotransmitter also called a feel-good hormone. That is sent to 4 pathways. One of those is the mesolimbic dopamine pathway, which is connected to the amygdala and the hippocampus. The first processes emotion, while the latter is essential for learning and memory. Too much or too little dopamine affects how we learn, get motivated, our mood, attention, our heart rate, and many other behaviors and physical functions. And this is where studies show the addictiveness of social media.
When we engage with social media, it releases a lot of dopamine in the brain's reward pathway, lights up the same part of the brain as drugs and alcohol. It's incredibly accessible. We have 24/7 access to this particular drug. It's bountiful in the sense that it's practically speaking infinite. TikTok never runs out. And number 4, it's incredibly novel. The AI algorithms learn what we've liked before and actually push to us the suggestion that we want to keep going or check out the next new thing.
In late May, the Surgeon General put out an advisory about the effects of social media on youth mental health. He highlighted adolescence and childhood as a critical stage in brain development and that young people are more at risk when they're spending too much time on social media.
Is social media evil? No. But is the way we use it currently detrimental and addictive? Yes. Learn to deal with people as a whole. I mean, granted, there are some people who are introverts and their natural state of being is not having to deal with anybody in order to function, but you do need to function in order to get along in this world.
Alright. I know that there's something near and dear to my heart, and it was an addiction for a very long time. And it still is, in a weird way. Pop culture. Can't get enough of it. Whether it be social media, whether it be pop culture itself. And yes, I will be the first hypocrite to say pop culture didn't pay for a lot of stuff in my house. Because it just did. But yes, you're talking to a guy who reads comics. And I'm 40 and I still read comics. You're talking to a guy who watches TV. You're talking to a guy who's on his phone. You're talking to a guy who's going to do this and retain this knowledge. And yes, it is an addiction. And I can't get enough of it. I have taken time off. I have taken weaned off. I do one instead of the other. I have forgotten very, very good things I'm supposed to know. Like, I've forgotten phone numbers. You get gun to head right now. I know I'm in front of some cameras right now. I cannot tell you my son's social security number. I cannot. However, I can recite lyrics to early 2000s rap songs by Nelly from memory because it was so good. It was so good at that time. And now I am a former young person. And in my former young person self, I want to be upfront with you. I'm chasing the dragon. I'm chasing the dragon. It's never going to be as good as good. I'll tell you the date. It's never going to be as good as junior year in college. I had just enough money to get stuff done. I was almost broke. But you know what I had? The beginnings of like YouTube really kicking in gear. Facebook was hitting its stride, and there was this new thing, and it was a new thing called Twitter. Oh God, this was it. And then, if I wanted to, I could talk to anyone I wanted to in the world, and no one checked me. I could just, LeBron, you suck. And everyone was cool with it. Social media, pop culture, that's my addiction.
What addictions have impacted your life and how?
And well, the first step to recovery is acceptance.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I've written up there.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still gonna do that. I'm still gonna participate. I've been blocked by a couple people because I can be a tad bit opinionated. I don't know if you found that out yet. But yeah, there's some things I don't like that I like. Honest to God, in my heart of hearts, and if you see what I'm wearing, I am a bit of a Lions fan. I don't know if you know that or not. I really believe by playing NFL Madden, I can fix the draft right now. I can fix the Lions tonight. And we will get a Super Bowl.
I encourage people to that because that generates a lot of interest.
No, like if Brad Holmes, I'm dead serious. I will tweet him tonight. And I'm like, yo, my man, yo, do this. Like, I had a great idea that I wrote down. Just in case I ran into him. And the second I see it, I'm not even going to talk to him face to face. I'm going to reach out my phone and hit send. And then when just to see if he looks at his phone, just to see if he does, hey, Brad, that was me. That was me. I'm doing that. Because social media, it can be a bit addictive.
6 months ago, I did my very own social media fast. That's right, I logged off. You see, I only intended to fast for 30 days because I realized I was so far immersed in the social world, I felt like I was losing myself. But suddenly, 30 days turned into 60 days. And 60 days turned into 6 months. 6 months social media free, and I felt like I recovered from something that was heavily influencing my creativity and my intelligence in a way that I didn't like. I felt like I was in my own world, and I loved it. You see that smile right there? That's what I felt like. But I learned something in these last 6 months. I realized that social media is one of the biggest threats to the brain. It's a very scary thought, but social media has programmed us to think less, to focus less, and to question less.
Social media can be a bit addictive.